Chaos and Capital, unpacking the Great Reset and JD Vance's bold speeches. Welcome to Chaos and Capital, where every weekday we dive into the turbulent undercurrents of global finance and freedom, with a splash of irreverent humor, hard-hitting truth, and a touch of goldfish wisdom from our very own Gerald. Today's show is making major waves as we connect the dots between the elite's grand Great Reset narrative and JD Vance's twin incendiary speeches, one at the Paris AI Summit 2025 and one at the Munich Security Conference, that have quite literally reset the conversation on free speech and democratic integrity. At the Paris AI Summit, world leaders such as French President Emmanuel Macron, Indian PM Narendra Modi, Canadian PM Justin Trudeau, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and Chinese Vice Premier Zhang Guoqing gathered to champion a multi-stakeholder approach for sustainable, inclusive growth, a vision that the Great Reset agenda touts as the blueprint for our collective future. In that polished arena of lofty promises, Vance disrupted the narrative by declaring that the sophisticated rhetoric of ethical governance and technological innovation is nothing but a facade. He warned that while these global elites are busy drafting grand strategies to reshape the world, their policies are engineered to suppress dissent and manipulate electoral outcomes. Vance didn't mince words when he pointed out the irony of leaders who secretly depend on American dollars to fund their grand projects, yet they cringe at any admission that their own systems might actually be right. Then, at the Munich Security Conference, Vance delivered an even more searing speech, one that left world leaders more floundering than a school of minnows caught in a storm. With a fiery tone, he accused European bureaucrats of silencing free speech, citing jaw-dropping examples that seem straight out of a dystopian script. He revealed that in parts of Europe, ordinary citizens are being arrested for simply praying in public. A British Army veteran, for instance, was prosecuted for silently praying outside an abortion clinic. And if that wasn't enough, presidential elections were abruptly halted just 2 days before Election Day, based on flimsy, unsubstantiated claims of Russian interference, a convenient excuse to stop the vote, because the authorities didn't like who was winning. If American democracy can survive a decade of Greta Thunberg scolding, then you guys can handle a few months of Elon Musk-style mayhem, Vance declared, challenging the very framework of the Great Reset and exposing its darker, more cynical underbelly. Amidst all this political theater, our silent yet ever-observant Goldfish CMO, Gerald, swims in his bowl with the cool nonchalance of a creature who's seen it all. As European officials spewed bureaucratic jargon like régulation, prohibition, limitation to defend their actions, Gerald circled lazily by his castle ornament, his eyes practically rolling as if to say, "You call that a splash? I can make waves without even breaking the surface." His knowing glances serve as a spicy reminder that even when governments try to dam up the flow of free expression, the tiniest fish can create the biggest ripples. Let's be clear. While the Paris AI Summit showcased grand visions of future-proof societies, and the Munich Security Conference laid bare the harsh realities of a system that arrests citizens for praying and halts elections on dubious claims, both events ultimately revealed the same truth. JD Vance's twin speeches reset the conversation by exposing the hypocrisy of a political class that clings to power by any means necessary, even if it means suppressing the very freedoms they claim to uphold. German leaders like Boris Pistorius and Olaf Scholz fired off cynical rebukes, lamenting that democracy was called into question for the whole of Europe, even as they secretly depend on American funding. They love to get money from the US, but hate to admit that they might actually be right. If you're ready to swim against the current of corporate censorship and political manipulation, then join our underground club, an exclusive community of freedom fighters and truth seekers who aren't afraid to challenge the status quo. Smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss a ripple of truth in this stormy sea of misinformation. And before we let Gerald's silent splashes speak louder than words, make sure to dive into our two most important videos, Own Nothing and Be Happy, which dissects the Great Reset in all its controversial glory, and Fighting for Financial Freedom, our eye-opening exposé on why CBDCs might just be the bait that drains your liberty. Both links are in the video's description. Remember, None of this is financial advice. We're here to empower you with knowledge, a few spicy jokes, and a whole lot of heart. Welcome to Chaos and Capital, where we fight for your freedom one wave at a time. And even the smallest splash can create the biggest ripple.